Hello, everyone. And David, I'm a TI. I'm gonna read this real quick, and then I'm gonna start How to Tame a Demon read through part 4. Oh, by the way, somebody sent us this. We really appreciate it. It's uh, code name Pretty Eyes. It's the TI book, testimony and story. We haven't read it yet, but we plan on starting. Yeah. I'm gonna read from 1 John 2:15 through 17, and then I'm gonna start the read through of How to Tame a Demon. Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. Amen. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now. I hope everyone's doing as good as they can. Uh, I should have some interviews coming up. I'm feeling better, so I'm being able to attend and schedule stuff. Okay, let's just get right into it. I feel like they are messing with my heart's rhythm. Is there any defense against it? The technology can increase blood pressure, cause arrhythmias by training the heart to beat improperly. These are common methods at the beginning of the torture and probability of kill programs. Strokes can be introduced in this fashion. Some defenses TIs have written about during an intense attack. Speaking of that, well, I don't have my hat with me. Oh, I've been trying to wear that electrosensitive hat all the time because I'm electrosensitive. So, I'm still getting V2K even though this hat does block RF, and I have proved it to myself and tested it out. But V2K does not go away. Weapons attacks don't go away. So I think they're using extremely low frequencies to do this. Uh, that can go by undetected and beat this shielding. Okay, this technology can increase blood pressure and cause arrhythmias by training heart to beat improperly. Common methods begin to torture probability of kill program. Strokes can be introduced in this fashion. Some defenses TIs have written about during intense attack wear a leather jacket. I have to try that. I've heard that before, and matter of fact, there's a dude on Facebook uh, who bought a brand new leather jacket. Who gets hit with dudes? He bought a brand new leather jacket, and in 2 months it was wore out just from being hit and attacked with the microwave weapons. So, well, that's what he says. So he said he bought it 2 months ago. I mean, I've seen video after video of this dude getting hit hard, and it wore his jacket out. This seems to absorb some of the radar energy. Other practical advice would be to keep some beta blockers on hand. This stops the brain from being able to increase your heart rate. Since this is mind control, they use the release of hormones triggered by certain brain pathways to increase the heart into a runaway panic. Amazingly, hypnotic distractions such as clapping or plucking the ears can snap the brain entrainments out of track with temporary beneficial results. What what does that tell you about the mental technique being used? Neurofeedback and biofeedback has helped others. And I'm trying to. Oh yeah, and sometimes they can create false. They will beat your heart, and then when you go in for the doctor, it'll go back to normal, and then the doctors will be like, "Well, I don't see nothing," and you feel like you've wasted your time. Can I do anything about blocking synthetic telepathy? I wish. It depends on the stage of the target's brain adaptation to the synthetic auditory signals. Many studies show that overactive vagus nerves can cause auditory responses like tinnitus and psychotic symptoms. Some research has shown that electrical stimulation at the right current can quell some of the synthetics of some of the effects of synthetic telepathy and tinnitus. The program usually evolves in this way with TIs who develop synthetic telepathy. First, it starts off with faraway voices and white noise coming from anything that makes noise or sounds like voices from the neighbors' apartments next door. Then it evolves into perfect voices as clear as a mobile phone. Then it's true synthetic telepathy. There are examples where this evolution is not true and reversed. There appears to be several technologies and algorithms working. Why is this? It appears that the technology must piggyback neural signals at first. Both pitch and direction is heard, and then over time it becomes a whisper in the mind. The idea of synthetic telepathy is one that cannot disguise his own internal voice and thoughts from those injected. Separating synthetic telepathy and mind control is difficult. It's a sophisticated set of technology and tactics. Let's discuss a few of these known technologies and a couple lesser known ones. Most researchers claim the microwave hearing effect is the technology behind synthetic telepathy, or V2K. This is only one way that voices can be inserted into the human mind perception. If you can insert voices into the enemy's head, I will find a way to talk them to the death, Colonel in the U.S. Army. The microwave hearing effect, as described by Dr. Frey, causes the brain to expand ever so slightly according to the pulse, and that is how it is heard by stimulating the inner ear. Of course, brain damage is a major concern with this technology. What most researchers don't consider is that an external excitation can be correlated in the brain of the target using both the microwave hearing effect and specific brain entrainment signals. Once autocorrelated, what the brain's neural networks do, only the entrainment signals are necessary to give rise to the auditory cues and not the other kind of pseudo-auditory stimulus via any means. At this stage, it is true synthetic telepathy. The target's brain must adapt to signals over about a year before the other mind control trickery can be done to them, although this time period is debated by researchers. Many targets believe that ultrasonic heterodyning is occurring to them. This could be done, but ultrasonic energies can't penetrate much and diffuse over distance very quickly. See American Technology Corporation. It was made famous in the U.S. by a billboard in Times Square of a paranormal activity movie advertisement. In the early stages, the sounds piggyback the normal nerve signals. This can be dampened by being in an acoustic anechoic chamber or by putting mineral oil in the ears with earplugs. Without any stimulation to the audio cortex, the piggybacking signal cannot be correlated by the brain and can delay the onset of the rest of the mind control program. Some EEG signals are helped by playing music into the mind while the target sleeps over a period of about 6 months. This disrupts the correlation as the targets get programmed while they sleep. Unfortunately, it only seems to delay the full mapping of the audio cortex responses if targeted 24/7. So they're saying if you play music at night while you sleep, I use handpan music at night. It says it disrupts the correlation, and it seems to delay the full mapping of your brain. Counter arguments have been made by researchers that the microwave hearing effect is not the source of the communication to the target. Several well microwave shielded environments have been created. The communication can penetrate them, and with oscilloscopes and power spectroscopes have shown that RF wavelengths under 450 megahertz still penetrate while mobile phones won't pick up any signals. This is a counter indication that microwaves are not necessary to accomplish synthetic telepathy. One interesting experiment is to try a time-delayed voice response. Most TIs do not have technical expertise to build one themselves, but they can find one at any city science discovery center. Since the nerves of speech are easy to decipher and many companies have formed to show this, including NASA, one way to screw up the V2K is to use one of these machines. Why does it work? Everything's about autocorrelation. If you screw up the sound that's being made by the time delaying it, their instruments also cannot correlate the speech sent back to the computers or the person hearing interpretation. Some TIs find that mu metal surrounding their head dampens the effects. Mu metal is a magnetic field damping material. There are many theories by scientists that point to the ion cyclotronic resonance as the mode of action in the nervous system. This requires the Earth's magnetic field to do it, or a kind of magnetic scalar wave, an extremely low frequency modulation range of ions in the human body. Other experimenters have researched stealth bomber defenses for a low radar profile. These materials help too. Sorry, due to national security, they cannot be listed here, but some researchers give hints like Teflon, rubber, and other high dielectric materials. Try to lower the radar profile on your body. It is worldwide, so you can't run from it, but you can dampen some effects by randomly fluctuating high electron static fields and magnetic fields. In the case of fluctuating magnetic fields, slowly opposing poles of magnetic fields have beneficial effects, and EMP pulses at high intensity and unpredictable levels have had some success. Why? Study NMR and ESR and signal intelligence theories. Other experimenters have used simple acoustic sound waves, distract the brain from interpreting external sound signals. Binaural beats at 7.8 hertz and 3.3 hertz have helped others. Hand pan music helps me and Holly. We listen to it every night. You ain't got to turn it on loud, just loud enough for your brain will focus on that and kind of ignore because at night they're doing all kinds of, it keeps them from fully mapping out your brain. They say if you listen to music every night for 6 months. Do 10 full hats work? For me, I was getting burnt really bad a couple of years ago. And I made a 10 full hat and I kept layering it and layering it to make sure that, you know, uh, I had it really solid and it just made me burn up worse. And here we go. Please do not try this. This was an early experiment that may have provided temporary relief for some investigators, but this has been shown by many experiments not to work. Plus, it discredits the person using it. If you want to try it, hide it under a hat. Society has been programmed to believe that you are crazy for trying it. MIT and other people have done experiments to show it actually enhances the body's electrical properties like an antenna, which is why I probably burnt like crazy. Okay, coping strategies. My mail is being delayed and tampered with. What can I do? Unfortunately, all the government systems are connected. Try to keep track of bills so they don't start to deplete your finances through delayed credit card payment scams. They even try to isolate the target by delaying deliveries of invitations, etc. Complaining to the Postmaster General has had no effects. Remember, every division of government is segmented and controlled by an integrated, all-exclusive system when you've been put on the list. I'm sorry I helped to integrate the system to give it too much power to a partially corrupt government. That's Robert Duncan talking. We all know absolute power corrupts absolutely. Will moving help? I can tell you that. I was in 12 states in 6 months in 2018. Moving will not help in general. If stalking is your problem, you believe people are moving next to you, moving into a small town community in a house where you know everyone can help. This is rarely the case, and people move, but it will happen to them anywhere in the world. The electronic harassment will follow after a few days to any new location. One of the objectives is to deplete the target's finances over time. A very few targets were held captive in their apartments and houses initially. If they left, they would be targeted with torturous pains, and then the handlers would reverse the program and make the targets run from each location. Been there. Using many anecdotal stories from TI interviews, one can come to a conclusion without expensive testing of their own. Several TIs literally bought tickets on a plane at random, leaving their states 30 minutes before departure. They still had the V2K, and when they landed, they were stalked. Some have gone to places where there's no mobile phone receptions, like islands, but still had V2K and even inside caves. No one has gone into a submarine yet, a mile underwater, and reported their results. What does that tell you? Can you escape? There is a place in Virginia called the Quiet Zone that does not allow much electromagnetics in their community due to radar reception. Many electrically sensitive people move there. I'm going to read one more and I'm going to stop until next week. Will yoga, meditation, and hypnosis work to alter brain frequencies and be harder to clone and adapt to? Some TIs have found relief from biofeedback and neurofeedback systems to control the brain into a sound state of mind and body, often called the alpha wave dominant state. There are sounds that create a binaural beat frequency of 8.7 hertz, which is the resonance of the earth and provides some relief. Hypnosis works to create empowering messages and diffuse some of the negative messaging handlers using V2K on their victims. The handlers' game is to maximize stress on the target, so everything that can be done to alleviate the stress lessens the handler's power over the target. Unfortunately, trauma and stress induction on the human psyche is cumulative. All you can do is delay the effects and their ultimate goal of control over the mind and breakdown of their free will. So, let me see. I'm going to read one more. My memory can be wiped and is very foggy. What can I do to help my thinking? Slowing down the mind can help. Theophylline is a drug and is a dopamine suppressant in the frontal lobes. Since it appears that mind control signals can only add energy into the brain circuitry, it usually creates a dysfunction by overactivation of the neural circuitry. Side effects including dumbing down and zombie-like states if taken in too high doses. These are choices of the lesser two evils. Keep routines and write stuff down. Overactive frontal lobes can cause hypergraphia and disjointed thoughts, leading to a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Consult your doctor for other advice of chemical blockers, but remember the choices you must make in describing your symptoms to your doctor. They know nothing about mind control weaponry and will not believe it. That's all for today on How to Tame a Demon Part 4. I hope everyone's doing the best they can, considering I have quite a few interviews scheduled. Some people, however, schedule interviews and don't show up to them just to throw me off. I don't feel like that's the case with some of my interviews coming up. God bless all TIs out there. Um, you know, I hope this ends, but until it ends, you just got to find ways to cope and deal with it the best you can. Ignore the harassment the best you can. Try not to react. And just I don't know, prayer and spirituality help me. Well, I don't call it religious because I don't practice religion. Anyway, God bless.